And the semi-finals are set. Hello everyone and welcome to Rabona TV. I'm Adrian, back again with more Euro coverage. Yes, more. Let's get straight into it, talking Denmark, Czechia. The Czechs really started this match on the wrong foot by conceding a goal after 5 minutes. The freest of free headers for Thomas Delaney from a corner kick, but he still had to get the execution right, so credit to him. Some questions over whether it should have been a corner in the first place, of course, so that's unlucky for the Czechs, but still. Denmark still had to execute, and they did. And there's no excusing that sort of passive defending. I'm sure they were aware of the risk, given how Denmark have consistently started really well and really quickly in most of their matches. Plans change, the Czechs took some time to do so, but after about 20 minutes they were back in it and looking pretty good. The Czech opportunity came, the big one of the first half, from some great pressing and forcing an error out of Denmark, leading to a dangerous through ball that Kasper Schmeichel had to rush out to cut the angle on and concede a corner. They pushed further up the pitch, the Czechs that is, Souček most notably, and Maehle with that sumptuous cross as he once again made his mark in this tournament. The Atalanta propaganda is in full swing during this Euro 2020. That really was something, and a well-executed finish from Dolberg to boot. What a way to close out the half for the Danish side, and a poor way for the Czechs. You could almost argue that the second Danish goal came against the run of play a little bit, but I mean, the Danes were sitting back and transitioning to attack very quickly with Braithwaite and his movement and his directness causing all sorts of problems for the Czech back line. It was unfortunate for them to go down 2, especially right before the half, as they were coming into the match nicely. But on the other side of the half, it was time for the Czechs to start quickly, and after Schmeichel made a lovely save, he was beaten by who else but the man in form, Patrick Schick, with his 5th of the tournament so far. A great ball in and a great redirected finish by Schick to put it out of reach of Schmeichel in the corner. Not much power needed when you can place the ball like that. Superb from him. Hopefully he can carry this form into the Bundesliga season and really do some damage under his new manager at Bayer Leverkusen. I do feel for Dolberg a bit as he was substituted despite his good play as Poulsen came on, but that's just tournament management of players' fatigue levels. A great substitution to make, however, as Poulsen brings a little more speed to the attack, and the Danes weren't providing much going forward in the early exchanges of the second half, in the first 15 minutes or so of it. Poulsen was great at dropping deep in order to impose himself on the ball and try to drive forward with it, which he did on a couple of occasions to great effect, around the hour mark at least, but Souček defended admirably and blocked his strike. He paid for it though, taking that blow to the ear. Despite the Czechs controlling the ball well, it was still the Danes that looked the most dangerous going forward, and part of that comes down to their depth and attack. Even after making a bunch of substitutions, they looked just as good going forward, with Maehle having an opportunity to widen the gap, but Vaclik closed the angle and made a great kick save at the near post to keep it at 2-1. It was a tense final minutes, and when the 6 minutes went up, it was all hands on deck for Denmark defensively, as well as Poulsen, who did well to get back and move into a left midfield position when they were defending. It really was a squad effort. I mean, I was impressed with how well Denmark defended, how they controlled the game with or without the ball. And beyond that early second half goal from Schick in the 49th minute, the Czech Republic didn't rack up many quality opportunities in that second half. 2-1 Denmark was the final after 96 minutes played. They move on to the semi-finals and will provide a handful for anyone. England. Excellent in the attack, good game management, strong defenders, good in the press and at countering, and a deep bench. Great effort from the Czechs, but the quality of the Danes was just beyond them. Southgate fielded a lineup that I would think most English supporters would have loved. Maybe there would be some more calls for Grealish to start. In fact, there were on Twitter. Those won't ever go away, but I think most have realized how big of a weapon he is coming off of the bench in the last 30 minutes or so, and Southgate's doing a great job of rotating the side. Grealish, but I mean, he's so direct. If he was to come on, he didn't. He puts tired defenders on their heels, so he can be that good addition later in the game. But Mount and Sancho's inclusions in the attack alongside Sterling and Kane was really exciting to see from the offset. Speaking of direct players, Sancho and Sterling are exactly that, and it took just 4 minutes for Sterling to pick out an incredible pass to Kane to finish and take his tally up to 2. No better way to start a match. Another early goal in these quarterfinals, as MAH wrote on Twitter. I mean, we got to talk about how Sterling has had the glow up. He was second fiddle at City at the tail end of the season, and his starting place was absolutely questioned time and time again, but we have to give credit to the man. He's been fantastic. He's been involved in a goal in every game except for that Scotland draw, which of course was goalless. No one was involved in goals in that one. England controlled this match really well, as Ukraine had difficulties in linking their defense and attack, with Yaremchuk often far outnumbered whenever they would try to feed him the ball early. But from a Kyle Walker misplaced pass, Yaremchuk took on Stones, pushing to the outside and still forcing a save from Pickford. Time and time again, Ukraine were so close to getting an attack going, but whether through a heavy touch or not being able to get players up the pitch fast enough, a few attacks died in that fashion. Conceding first and so early made things difficult for Ukraine, as they had to push up the pitch further, meaning their wing backs were often caught out, and diagonal balls into the inside channels always looked like a danger. On top of that, Sancho cutting inside and dragging a few defenders with him on the dribble was really fun to watch. I mean, this was the England that I've wanted to watch for a while, making use of the exciting attacking talent. And with someone like Sancho, who racked up the assists in Germany, you knew that they weren't sacrificing any sort of service to Kane in bringing on a dribbler like Sancho. The opposite of which, really. I wonder how credible those rumors were that he wasn't going to play until the transfer to United was finalized. Could just be a funny coincidence, I guess, but I don't know. Towards the end of the first half, Ukraine had a few good passing movements, most often finding joy down that left side, with Yaremchuk combining well with Mykolenko and Sidorchuk. Nothing much from Yarmolenko during the first half. It was all sort of down that left-hand side, sort of targeting the space in between Walker and Stones. But that optimism in Ukraine dissipated quite quickly as Luke Shaw put his stamp on things with a brace of assists in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Again, Ukraine were sluggish to start the half, while England were fantastic. The first goal, that one came from a set piece with Shaw setting up Maguire with that 2018 vibe. The second was just cruel, with Sterling turning on the flare to feed Shaw, and his cross was impeccable as Kane nodded it in. 3-0 England at that point. Fantastic stuff from them going forward. Following that, Henderson was brought on for Rice just to ensure that England stayed in control and the standards didn't drop despite the 3-goal deficit. And of course, game one may as well give him some rest, just as Southgate did with the rest of the squad too. He really rotated them in that second half. A 3-goal deficit that became 4 actually, when Mount found an unmarked Henderson at the near post from the corner. Absentee defending from Ukraine there, as they had completely lost it after the second goal, really. Accepted defeat subconsciously. They knew there was no coming back from there, and the rest was the icing on the cake for England. The quality of this Ukrainian side is certainly up for debate. They only won matches against North Macedonia and a Swedish side that was a man down. They consistently look disorganized and tired. There's been a lot of culture Shevchenko to go back in Ukraine, but as I said, they looked bagged against Sweden as well. They looked so tired. But this was also a very good performance from England, considering you can only beat what's in front of you, and they won by a large deficit when they should be winning by a large deficit. Their attack was much more fluid, their passing was more incisive, and they actually looked good going forward, as opposed to looking so laborious during the group stage. It was the first time in a while that they've looked like the England they have always had the potential to be, given the talent at their disposal. The last 15 minutes were basically Ukraine waving the white flag and playing for damage limitations, trying to avoid further embarrassment and just trying to wind the clock down. But England, they went through, and it was never very difficult for them, was it? I'm looking forward to how they will do against, a good attacking side in Denmark, though I do fear for Denmark a bit, given how they looked a little bit tired toward the end of the match against the Czechs, but they will still certainly provide the toughest test that England have faced thus far in Euro 2020, and hey, England playing at home, once again, it's going to be tough for Denmark. And that's it, guys. The semifinals are set now, with England taking on Denmark and Italy taking on Spain. I'm very much looking forward to it, and tomorrow I'll have my semifinal preview out for you guys, so watch out for that. Beyond that, though, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. I'm Adrian, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.